Vamos a dar inicio al acto de instalación del Seminario Regional sobre Relaciones Comerciales entre Estados Unidos, la América Latina y el Caribe en el primer año de la Administración Obama. Palabras del excelentísimo señor Odeen Ishmael, Embajador de la República Cooperativa de Guyana y Presidente del Consejo Latinoamericano.
Permanent Secretary of State, Ambassador Jose Rivera, Ambassador of the United States of America to the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Ambassador Patrick Luddy, Ambassadors of Australia, member states, members of delegations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I take this opportunity to express, on behalf of all delegations, our deepest sympathies for the government and people of Chile for the disastrous loss of life, the severe injuries, and the heavy infrastructural damage caused by the recent earthquake and its aftermath. We do hope that the Chilean nation will be able to overcome this tragedy. The government and people of Chile can surely count on the solidarity and goodwill of this region for moral as well as tangible support. I ask the members of the Chilean delegation to convey this expression of sympathy to their government. As we take heed to the tragedies and travails of Chile and also of Haiti, we meet over the next 2 days of this regional seminar to consider the trade relations between the United States and Latin America and the Caribbean in the period of the new administration of President Barack Obama of the United States. The fact that we see this topic as being of great importance registers the significance of trade relations between the United States and Latin America and the Caribbean. This seminar aims to conduct an analysis on the main elements of the economic policy program of the administration of President Obama and its probable implications for the Latin American and Caribbean nations. At the same time, it hopes to identify the main trends of the trade relations between the United States and Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as the main areas of interest in the context of their foreign trade relations with the United States. We are indeed honored with the presence of Ambassador Luddy, who will certainly contribute immensely with the exchange of information and ideas on the prospects of trade relations between the United States and Latin America and the Caribbean. And I'm sure that the subsequent discussions will aid in assessing the potential responses agreed by Latin America and the Caribbean with respect to the regional economic agenda with the United States. If I may divert very briefly, I think this is the first time SAILA, according to my memory, is having the honor of having the Ambassador of the United States addressing this forum. So, Ambassador, I think you're making some sort of history here. I think that one of the main questions passing through our mind at this time is this: has there been any significant change, positive or negative, in U.S. trade policies since the beginning of the Obama presidency? We will also hear the views on this and other trade issues from sub-regional groups such as Central America, CARICOM, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Mercosur, and the Andean countries, while representatives of Mexico and Chile will present their perspectives of free trade with the United States. We also look forward to hear the opinions of the Permanent Secretary of SAILA and the Executive Secretariat of the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, on this topic of vital concern to the entire region. And certainly the opinions of the representatives of member states of SAILA are essential to this exercise. And I'm very pleased to learn that we do have very good high-level representation from the capitals of our member states. As we are all aware, the United States is the most important trading partner of all the Latin American and the Caribbean states. While overall the balance of trade may not favor all the countries of the region, it is significant to note that the huge amounts of imports from the United States generally generate millions of jobs for Americans and influence the growth and recovery of the American economy, which in turn should generate a positive influence on the economies of Latin America and the Caribbean. No doubt, the Latin American and Caribbean countries want greater and easier access to the American market for their primary and manufactured products. And since I represent the member state of CARICOM, allow me to speak very briefly from the CARICOM perspective on this issue. CARICOM countries at the recent Conference of Heads of State and Governments in Dominica expressed strong support for the initiative in the United States Senate to propose a bill for extension of the Caribbean Basin Trade Partnership Act, primarily to facilitate continued exports of apparel by Haiti to the United States market. The conference appreciated that the extension, if approved, would also apply to all eligible Caribbean countries. That conference also agreed that the United States trade agenda should be kept under close review, taking into account the community's engagement with the United States administration and Congress in the context of securing expansion of the Caribbean Basin Economic Recovery Act to include services and the conclusion of a CARICOM-U.S. trade and investment framework agreement. Some uncertainty in CARICOM-United States trade relations was removed on March the 24th, 2009, when the World Trade Organization approved the long-standing waiver request from the United States on the Caribbean Basin Economic Recovery Act. The approval of the waiver, which will remain valid until 2014, provides the legal authorization for CARICOM to export certain goods to the United States duty-free. The approval of the waiver is therefore a positive development in United States-Caribbean trade relations. The achievement is linked notably to some level of compromise reached between the United States and Paraguay, whose objections to the waiver related to concerns about unfair competition to its local producers because of the United States unilateral preferential trade regime with the Caribbean and other countries. While this waiver has been a positive advance, CARICOM countries are also lobbying for the United States to broaden the categories of CARICOM products eligible for preferential access to its markets. The sub-region points to the fact that its services sector is the fastest growing, contributing more than 60% of the economic output, and feels that this sector should explicitly provide for in any future CARICOM-U.S. trade relations. At the same time, any new and enhanced trading relationship between CARICOM and the United States should take into account the differences in the level of development between the two parties and among CARICOM countries themselves. Undoubtedly, the sub-region needs capacity building assistance to allow regional industries to capitalize on export opportunities. The United States can be supportive by providing training and technical assistance to address sanitary and phytosanitary requirements and other technical regulations and standards applied by the United States. Having said something from the CARICOM perspective, I want to mention another matter which is of much larger and significant scale. That is about the United States-Brazilian trade dispute, for which the Latin American and Caribbean region wants President Obama to help find a quick resolution. Recently, there was a media report indicating that Brazil would impose tariffs on imported American cosmetics, appliances, and cars worth about $600 million to counter what the WTO ruled were unfair United States cotton subsidies. In announcing the higher tariffs on United States luxury goods, Brazil, according to the media report, said it may also apply penalties of more than $200 million in the intellectual property and services sector. We certainly hope that there can be a quick settlement to this current trade dispute, which has stalled the WTO talks for some time now, and we surely do not want to see any side pursuing a policy of trade retaliation. We certainly look forward to hearing the viewpoints of participants on this trade dispute issue in the course of this regional seminar. Thank you very much.